YouTube, Conductor165 here. Now sadly today we will not be talking about any steam engines. We're going to be talking about the winner of the last vote, the Tomy Trackmaster diesel. However, what I didn't mention in the vote is that I'm reviewing two diesels. One of them is a later edition. So firstly, we're going to be talking about this one. This is one of the very first diesels ever made. The 1997 diesel from the 17th of July, the very first diesel with the box on screen now. An interesting fact to note about this, apart from the fact it's got minor more details than the later model, is that it would run on a C battery. The reason for this is because the motor is in the cab and the C battery would go here. If there's no C battery, it's actually back heavy. It's really back heavy. So the C battery would balance it out. And let's just have a look at the detail before I move on to the next model. As you can see, it's very shiny. The light reflects off it really well, and the connecting rods sadly are static, and sadly don't even look like they meet up like they're meant to, meaning the wheels don't actually have any connecting rods. You can see the motor in the back there too, and if we look at the back, this is interesting. It's got windows, it's got black buffer beams which are very tiny for some reason, nice connecting rod there too, and there's the big chunky switch on and off. Bit hard to flick back from the on position. And the other side is exactly the same detail wise. I just love the detail on this. It's beautiful and well done. Now if we look at the face is based off the model series and they captured it really well, but I just got one problem. The eyebrows don't line up with the mold. I don't understand why that is, but for some reason it kind of adds to his devious look. He's got a nice buffer detail, and you can also see the ladder detail on the top there too. If we flip this over, you got on and off there, but it's upside down, and it's quite plain. Now this bit is inaccurate. It's meant to have 4 squares on there. If we look underneath, Brett Alcroft Thomas Limited 1997. It's got a screw missing, but still works. 1996 Tomy, made in Thailand. You can see it's had a rough trip because it's missed a traction tyre and a screw. However, it still works, and for the running video I will be replacing the traction tyre. And also, no screw would hold the body in. For those of you who don't want to see diesel with no body, look away now. As you can see, this is where the C battery would be, and it's already back heavy. This is what I meant, the C battery would keep it level. See it? And diesel there too, empty inside. So we put that back together. That concludes the old diesel. Now let's look at this diesel. Now this diesel is the 2010 diesel by Fisher-Price Mattel, and it came with a new face and would be powered with one AA battery, unlike the other model, with the box shown. Now if we look at this diesel, instead of being shiny like the last model, it's actually got like a grime feel to it. Not as in it's been greased up too much in the factory, way too old to have any grease on it by now. I mean, it's been made with a texture to not be shiny, and I like that because it removes the cleanliness of diesel. Because diesels aren't clean, they're grimy. You can see here, he's got a hole for a connecting rod, and not there too, but again, static connecting rods. They always kept that the same. Now I believe to access the battery you can put on this model, it is via a screw. Yep, there you go. And underneath, it's going to be a little hard to read. I'll read it to you. It says 2009 Ghislaine Thomas Limited, 2009 Mattel, made in China. So a different manufacturing place, and nothing at the back. It's got different colour traction tyres, and obvious name there, diesel. Now here's an interesting fact to point out. Unlike the other model, he has no rear windows, and this here. This is to keep the body locked in place so it doesn't fall off. I kind of miss the window detail. It looks so much better. The other side is exactly the same. Looks like there is slightly more detail. The roof, as I mentioned earlier, has the squares, and the switch is dramatically smaller now, and much more easy to use. Now if we look at the face is much more well done and is a more CGI looking face. So, I don't know, comment below which diesel you like best. Because I personally cannot decide. They're both... you know what, actually I changed my mind. I prefer the one on the right. Just because it's a classic and I just love classic Thomas toys. It's just so much better. Right, I'll be back in a minute with the rolling stock, so stay tuned. Alright, we're back. So, first off, this diesel, which is the 1997 version, would actually come with 2 tankers if you bought the 3 pack, which would be the Sodor fuel tanker and the Sodor milk tanker. So if we move diesel out of the way, let's take a look at these. So the Sodor fuel tanker is a basic mould for a tanker with stickers of saying it's hazardous fuel or dangerous fuel, so it could be explosive. With the nice printing Sodor fuel on there, that's not a sticker unlike these, that is a print onto it. I don't like how this coupling swivels so much because you can, when you're trying to couple it up and it goes here, you'll have to push it back out, which is annoying. You got the nice handrail detail here. Actually, it looks like it's splitting a little bit in the middle because you can see the seam line. And if you look at the other side, it's exactly the same, but with the coupler. But like I said, again, the coupler, it goes too high. That's the one thing I don't like about tankers. The couplers are a pain to use. And if we look underneath, oh, a bit hard to see, but it says in there Thailand. Made in Thailand. Yeah, there's no actual numbers or anything in there. Now, I will be looking at the next tanker for the next diesel model, so I'll come back to that later. And the milk tanker is exactly the same mould as the Sodor fuel tanker, but instead it's white and has this very nice milk print on it, where the letters would have a gap in between the lines of each other. I don't know why, but that actually suits it quite well. Again, you got the same coupling issue. Goes too high. You got the seam in the middle. The coupler that goes way too far. You can actually feel the middle coming away as well. And if we look underneath, again, made in Thailand. There is no date underneath these. However, they make really nice rolling stock pieces. They're really well done, and for those of you who collect tankers, I recommend these. Because granted, they're the same mould, but they're so nicely done, so authentic, and so nice to have. And I believe they did do a lot of different versions of the fuel tanker at least, and one we'll get to now. So this diesel, which is the 2010 one, would actually come on its own or with its own tanker. This is again another Sodor fuel tanker. Now let's just have a look at this one, for it is slightly different to the older model. For example, you can already see it's got these lines here for the support for the tanker. It's very faint to see, but it does have rivets. You got this nice new print detail of like an oil refinery. The top is roughly the same. The print actually don't line up. I've only just noticed that. This print lines with the center. This one's off to the side a little bit, which is weird. The front is the same. You got some buffers there. The others didn't actually have buffers, which is interesting. Yeah, it's similar, but slightly more detailed. And you've always got this annoying coupling issue. Too high. Now, if we look underneath, I can see there, it's a bit hard to see, but it does say Mattel with some numbers. And at the top, it says 2009. Ghislaine Thomas Limited right here. So yeah, this one is actually branded. Now I'm going to compare this tanker to this one. So first off, you can see from a side-by-side comparison, it looks like the newer one is taller and it's got more detail like the buffers, unlike it did here. It's got the rivet detail going through it that this one didn't. So yeah, it's the newer one is more detailed and decked out. But I think I still prefer the old one. But now that I'm looking at the old one and it doesn't have buffers, I'm a bit put off by it. However though, that comes to the end of talking about the diesels that I own and their history. So yeah, comment below which one you like best, and we're going to be getting to the running session now, so I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, because we've just hit 113 subs. Remember, the next goal is 200. So yeah, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and enjoy the running session. Bye!